So, hello and welcome back to our show Beyond the Classroom. For all of our listeners, introducing our guest for today, Aaliyah Sarkar. Alia has just finished her second year at Emory University, where she's studying business and marketing in particular is her major. During high school, Alia thoroughly explored the field of marketing by doing a lot of internships at companies like Dr. Bubbles and Brandcom. She's also passionate about art and pursues it in her free time. So, we're really excited to have Alia with us today.
Hi.
Hi. So,
So
Alia,
the
yeah, awesome. So if you could actually just walk us through, you had a lot of great acceptances. You had Boston College, Babson, Emory, Tulane. So can you actually tell us a little bit about what made you pick Emory and what do you like most about Emory?
so the top four choices you actually mentioned were the top four places out of all my acceptances that I was hoping to attend,
Yeah,
and I guess it was a funding process. If you never like have any one decisive choice, a funneling process always helps.
yeah,
So I wanted somewhere that's not too cold because I hate really cold weather. So I tried to stay away from Boston,
right.
and Babson was something that I was really close to attending.
Hmm.
But Babson is also like an all business university. And
Right.
Emory, on the other hand, also has many liberal arts options that I could have pursued also. So I just thought that I had more variety and more options at Emory. And also, it's a really prestigious place to attend. So I think that's why I picked Emory.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It does have a really unique program that feeds into the Giuseppe School of Business as well, where you do, the 2 years of liberal arts and then, then move on to your business concentrations, right? So, can you tell us a little bit about what, exploring that liberal arts curriculum in the first 2 years have been? Because you obviously were a student who is more decided on business and wouldn't typically apply to an entire liberal arts program, but what has studying those liberal arts courses been like for the first 2 years?
I actually really liked it. I thought it was like the best of both worlds because I am a business major and that's definitely what I'm here to study. But I also get to experience many other things that I probably wouldn't if I went to like an all business university or somewhere in the UK where business is the focus.
Right.
So Emory specific um kind of like really pushes you to do that because
Yeah.
they have this GER system where there's different categories, and in each category, for example, one category is HSE, History, Science, Culture. Oh, History, Society,
Right.
Culture, sorry. So you take classes that satisfy that requirement, and those are
Right.
usually liberal arts classes. So that's a very good incentive to like start anyway. And then there's also fun
Mm.
classes. Like I took ballet my first semester of college. So that was really
Yeah.
good fun.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. And do you feel like, your perceptions or your mind is opened up in a different way, exploring all of these different, interdisciplinary classes in any way?
I agree. I think it's very similar to what people usually go through. Like I was an ICSE student until grade 10, and then I did
Right.
the IB program, and I could really see a difference. Like it really opens you up in different ways.
Yeah.
Similarly, like I think college classes are like that because the onus is more on the student to do work, and like no one's like forcing you to do anything, but you
Right.
kind of have to take the responsibility up and like to get your grade and to actually get something from the class.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and you do have many interesting courses that you've taken at Emory. Like, you also did a seminar on animal footprints, right? So, what made you want to explore things like that?
So every student at Emory has to complete a freshman seminar their first year.
Yeah.
So the freshman seminar I took was in environmental science. I've always
Mm,
really loved the subject. I was almost an ENVS minor.
right.
So I thought that this would be a good way to like dabble into it and see if I actually want to make this something academic or just
Yeah.
have it something that I'm interested in and like leave it at that. So
Right.
this was a seminar on like we'd go to parks nearby campus and see animal footprints and like kind of decipher behavior patterns and stuff. So that was really like I'd never done something like that anywhere in Bombay, like in my school
Yeah.
life. So it's just really different. It just opens you up to very different experiences, I think.
Yeah, that's awesome. And just expanding on that, can you actually run us through a day in your life at Emory? What does it look like?
Oh, each day is very different. So I think, okay, a typical day, I always take morning classes to start with. So
Mhm.
I think my first class would be 10 a.m. typically.
Yeah.
So wake up right before, get ready, go to class. The class is like an hour long. Most all classes are an hour and 15 long. So I'll do the first class, grab something to eat. Um, if I have time, maybe go back to my dorm room, relax a little bit, then go to
Yeah.
class again. Classes will typically be over around 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock,
Hmm.
not really more than that. Then after I'm done, again, I'll probably just um depending on if I have a lot of work that day, if it's like midterm season, I'll probably go study. If not, I can just relax and um I'll meet my friends for dinner a lot. Then I do tend to study in my room a lot, so that's something I'm trying to break out of.
Yeah.
But pretty
Yeah.
much. And then if it's like a weekend, then maybe I'd go to a restaurant at night.
Got it.
So
Got it.
quite
Yeah.
calm. It's not very hustle bustle, I think.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So let's actually talk about that. What is studying around in and around Atlanta like? So what's the city like?
Atlanta is it's kind of in the middle. Like I feel like it's not like New York because I think New York is really fast paced. There's a
Right.
lot of greenery. We're known as like the urban forest. So there's
Yeah.
a lot of greenery, a lot of parks, um,
Hmm.
lot of um outdoor stuff you can do. So there's
Yeah.
that. And weather-wise also Atlanta gets cold, but not like Boston cold. Like it
Right.
gets cold. Like the maximum it'll be is like into negative like 5, -10. That's the most.
Yeah.
Um
Manageable.
yeah, I mean it's you kind of have to get used to it. It's
Yeah.
not gonna be like West Coast weather, but it's like good if you really don't like the cold like me. I
Hmm.
hate like extreme weathers like that.
Yeah.
Then there's a lot of stuff to do. I feel like it's big enough to be like a major city, right? So
Hmm.
pretty much everything you have access to, really good food, concerts, a lot, very different kinds of activities you can do depending on what you want to do, like touristy stuff also, like museums and stuff. And what I particularly like about Emory is that we're in Decatur, which is
Yeah.
I want to say like 15 minutes by car, maximum 20, into
Right.
Midtown, which is like the center.
Yeah.
Um, so it's like good enough distance. Like it's very accessible to the city, very almost like you are in the city. But then again,
Hmm.
you get the entire campus experience, and it's really safe and stuff campus. So it's like a good best of both worlds.
Got it. Got it. Yeah. Yeah. That does sound like it, right? Like the city is accessible and you have a lot to do. Even if you want to go out for dinner, you have new places to explore. But at the same time, when you want the quiet of like a campus, you have that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's perfect. So let's get into marketing now. It is your intended major. So can you actually even walk us through how you came to decide that marketing is what you want to get into, and how did you even before going off to Emory build a profile towards it?
I think business was something I've always wanted to do. Like, I just think it's an inherent thing for me.
Right.
My family is into the business like area, so I think I just saw it a lot, like at dinner conversations and stuff. So I knew I wanted to do business for a while, but then marketing, I kind of set my eyes on through like a method of elimination. Like I knew what I didn't want to do, and then when I tried marketing, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah.
So I'm not really a numbers person. I don't like finance that much. Like it's okay, but it's not
Hmm.
something I would like pursue as a career for the rest of my life. And then marketing was like a really good option for me because I think, as you said earlier, that I really like art, I love creative kind of things. So it's
Yeah.
kind of on that, but also like you need a formal education and like you need to know what you're doing in marketing.
Right.
So to combine both those things, I think I really find it very interesting. Like even the classes I am in, the marketing classes, like the projects we do are so interesting to me.
Hmm.
So to kind of build up my resume before I even applied for college, I just I think the options were kind of limited at that point because I kind of decided late what I wanted to do, marketing specifically. So
Yeah.
I did internships. Um, I did one at like a commercial like food like boba chain, and then
Right.
I did another one at a proper marketing firm
Hmm.
that has like a portfolio of clients and everything.
Yeah.
Actually doing one right now as well with a different marketing firm. So
Nice.
those two internships really sum up a good space on my resume because they're very different. So one was an
Right.
in-house marketing, social media marketing thing,
Hmm.
and the marketing firm obviously teaches you kind of how to handle different things and how each day is going to be very different because you're going to have different clients and different jobs. So I did the internships, and another thing that I really thought helped was taking business management in the IB. So I took BMHL, and I for some reason I think it really helped.
Hmm.
Uh, I picked between econ and business HL, and I'm just more interested in business, and it's
Yeah.
actually got a great curriculum. Like business HL and the IB has got a pretty well-rounded curriculum. Like even today at Emory, sometimes we'll have concepts in class that I already knew from the IB.
From the IB. Yeah,
I think
that's
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 like
really
good prep.
yeah, yeah. And that's actually really good feedback to hear because people have a lot of, misunderstandings about what BM in the IB is like, that, it's not considered rigorous enough. But like you're saying, it is relevant at a business school. So if you are, looking to do one of the business concentrations, and it could be a great subject to have at the IB. Yeah, in the IB. Yeah. Yeah, so now that you even talked about the different options within marketing, like advertising and digital marketing and market research, so within that, now that you maybe have done a few classes in college as well, do you have any idea of like what it is within marketing that you want to get into?
Um, I want to say just mostly like something around social media marketing or like just basically, I mean, I'm not sure. I definitely want to work at an agency to start with,
Right.
and then maybe
Yeah.
move somewhere in-house. I actually specifically have always wanted to do marketing, but in the industry of like luxury brands.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
like to work for like maybe Goya as a marketing executive is like I want to say my dream job.
Got it. Got it. Yeah, yeah. Luxury marketing is a great space to be in, given the exciting brands you have to work with, and on the agency side as well. So yeah, that's really great. So now actually let's talk about the application process. What was your approach to writing essays, and what did that entire journey of self reflection and really picking out what you want to present about yourself? What did it teach you?
Mhm. I think I had a great kickstart because of OnCourse. So I would discuss my like essays. I would first meet with Ashumi and we'd discuss the essay prompts,
Yeah.
and we kind of set like down what prompt I want to choose, and then kind of go from there. And
Right.
then like I remember for my USC essay was I think the one we worked on the most. I had three
Mm.
completely different drafts, and my even my common app like those are the ones that we had like the most different drafts for, like three completely different stories that is.
Yeah.
And I think the reflection process of it is like you want to think about what you want to like what means a lot to you. So it
Yeah.
can't be just anything. Like I feel like people can really tell if you're just writing anything because then it just seems very like vague and
Mm.
you don't hold as much like matter. But you also want to keep in mind that some like an administration like is going to read this, like someone from the office is going to read this, and like are you also leaving that impact that you want
Correct.
to leave? So I think keeping both those factors in mind, I would just think about what I wanted to say and like it doesn't have to be relevant. And something I learned during the process of writing my essay, so it doesn't have to be relevant to my academics or like how competent I am as a student to be admitted. Like first, I think I did my UK SOP first, which is why I thought I kind of have to sell myself a little bit as a student. But I
Yeah.
don't think that's like, true at all for the US. Like, I think they just want to know who you are as a person and, like, what makes you you.
Yeah.
So maybe something along those lines would probably produce the best essay.
Yeah. Yeah, and like you said, some essays take a lot, many drafts and a long process to get right. But there are also other essays that come more naturally. Like Ashmi was sharing with me that there was another day where you just got like essays for 5 schools done, like all together because you were just like in the flow, knew what to talk about, and you'd worked on a few essays. So yeah, there are definitely days like that in the application journey where you just get super productive once you know what's going on. Like you said, once you figured out what the US colleges are looking for, maybe it got much easier to work on.
I think you need to also really focus on what prompt you're picking. Like, I think
Yeah.
more than whatever you write, think about what prompt you want to pick. Just don't like pick whatever looks the easiest, but like pick what you think you can, like you have the most to offer, like in that area. Like I know my Emory essays are my favorite because they were the easiest for some reason. Like that was like a single, almost two drafts of each and done. And like for
Nice.
others, you had to really think. So I think the prompt also really helps if you pick the right one.
Yeah, yeah, that's great advice. Cool. So now let's move into more of a rapid fire round. So I'm just going to ask you a few quick questions, and I want you to tell me the first thing that comes to mind.
Okay,
Okay, so first one, Bombay or Atlanta?
Bombay.
Why?
I am home. Like, I love
Yeah,
Atlanta. I love my life in Emory, but I think Bombay is just home.
yeah, yeah. Maybe we'll ask you after 2 years again. What is the best book you've read since starting college,
But, uh,
or TV show that you watched since starting
I feel
college?
like I haven't got enough time to read in college for fun,
Yeah.
but I really liked this one memoir on Gandhiji for a class. Like, that was the only academic thing I read. And I also really like Scandal that I'm watching for fun.
Mm, yeah. Nice. What is your favorite food that they serve on campus at one of the Emory dining halls?
The dining halls are pretty good, like better than I think other average dining halls at other colleges. But I want to say my favorite is a Coldy's double chocolate chip muffin.
Nice. Very nice. Is there like do you have a go-to coffee spot on campus as well?
Yes, that's Coldy's. So that's a coffee kind of place. It's kind of you can use your meals.
Got it. Got it. Okay. What is the best campus activity that you've participated in?
Best campus activity. Oh, definitely. So we have a like an Indian Cultural Association, which is like a
Mhm.
club that represents like Indian culture, and they throw like a very big Diwali event every year. So it's like
Nice.
at a hotel, and you can actually celebrate. So it's like it feels nice, like a home away from home kind of thing. That's really fun.
Yeah. Yeah. That's always really nice to have. 3 words you would use to describe your time at Emory.
Fun, different, like hardworking.
Got it. What is the first meal that you cooked for yourself on campus?
Maggie.
Maggie. Classic.
I have to learn.
Yeah, yeah. What's the first thing that you'll do when you go back to campus next year?
I will actually set up in my new apartment that I'm going to live in for the next 2 years. So I'm very excited actually.
Nice. Maybe you'll expand your cooking endeavors now
I
that you're
have to
moving.
learn. I actually have to learn today.
Awesome. Kala Ghoda or Ponce City Market?
Possibly.
Yeah, nice. And art or ballet?
Art.
Okay. So yeah, now that you're actually moving to your third and fourth year, what are you really looking forward to in the second half of college?
Firstly, I don't think everyone really talks about this, but you don't realize that half of it is over until it's like actually over. It's like
Yeah.
very good. The second year goes by really fast. So really like breathe and like take it in because it's going to be over so fast. And I feel like the next 2 years will also like be over pretty fast. So
Yeah.
I'm excited to just like make the most of it. Like I'm gonna try to like do as much as I can. Like sometimes when you're like lazy and you just want to stay in bed and not do anything, I'm gonna try to do something.
Well,
Like just
yeah.
go if I'm going, I'm gonna go also. So like I'll have that memory for like 10%.
Yeah, absolutely. And are there any other campus organizations or anything else that you're doing beyond the classroom that you want to tell us about?
I'm in SOC, which is South Asian Women's Collective. That one is like also kind of about representation, education, discussing like diaspora and stuff. Um, what I loved actually at Emory was I took a Hindi class.
Hmm.
It's a language requirement, and you have to fulfill it. It's a part of the GERs I mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
So like for the last 5 years of my education in India, I took only French, and I was kind of sick of it. So I thought I'll take Hindi, and Hindi is actually great fun. So if you really need a class, like, and you don't want to try something new, take Hindi.
Yeah, yeah, that's a great option to have. And what's recruitment at Emory like? How much do they help you through the process? What resources do they have? I know you may not have already gone through it, but what have you heard from seniors that you would like to share with us?
I think recruitment is pretty big at Emory, but in specific like specific areas, even
Mm.
more. Like I know investment banking is huge at Emory. A lot of people recruit from Emory for investment banking. Consulting is also massive at Emory. Like a lot of business majors are consultants or finance. Like that's like the two main concentrations
Yeah,
for good data. So if you're doing either of those, you pretty much have like your career ahead of you. If you actually participate and like, take the effort to attend these recruiting events. The business school actually has so many resources. We have something called kegs every Thursday at 4. So that's kind of business networking. So you can attend if you want to, don't attend if you don't want to. You'll get to talk to people, make like contacts, etc. So that's a really helpful thing. We have
yeah,
a specific career center. Like you can go to them one on one, discuss what like you want. Like they do practice interviews and they'll help you with like your resume and stuff. So I really think you have like the career cover. You just have to like make an effort with it.
nice, nice. And how does a 2+2 program exactly work, right? Like, does everyone get into the business school, or do you need to have a certain GPA? If you can just give us some clarity on that as well.
So 2+2 program, like okay, if I have to compare to another school, I'd say Berkeley, Haas has something similar, right? So it's 2+2. But Emory is much like, for example, Haas is a lot of competition, so you don't know if you're gonna actually get into the business school or not, even as a
Yes.
Berkeley student. But for
Right.
Emory, it's actually very easy to get into the business school. The
Hmm.
hard part is to get into Emory. Like once you got into Emory, it's like really not that difficult to get into the B school. Pretty much everyone I know that wants to get in got in.
Got it.
Uh, it's kind of flexible on when you want like to actually join. So
Right.
we recently are undergoing like a little bit of a curriculum change. So based on that, you can actually join um like a semester earlier. So I joined a semester earlier. You're technically supposed to join. I'm technically supposed to join now, like the next 2 years, the next 4 semesters. But the last semester I did of sophomore year, I was also in the B school.
Got it.
So technically, it's not even such a like grave distinction, like
Hmm.
because to get into the B school, you have to complete certain prerequisites. Like I know calc was a prereq. You take like I think accounting, stuff like that, like basics, like just basic level classes as like
Got it.
kind of a thing to get into the school. So to
Hmm.
get in, I don't think they have an essay anymore. You just like fill the application, make sure you've completed the prereqs. It's advisable to have a GPA above like 3 or 3.3.0 or 3.2, but I'm sure that can be discussed. Oh, pretty much. It's fairly easy to get in. And plus,
Got
if you really want, and like if you really want to focus on the B school, you can actually take permission in advance, even before you're in the B
it.
school, from like the office. You can
Yeah.
enroll in BBA classes before you're in the school, like a semester or two before. So it's pretty flexible based on what you want, like your academic trajectory to look like. I
Hmm.
applied early. I'm purely a business major. I had a psych double major, but I dropped that.
Hmm.
Uh, so I'm purely a business major, so it made more sense for me to join a semester earlier. But honestly, you don't need to. 4 semesters is what like the program is made for. So in fact, I'll have a very light workload my semesters because I have one extra. But you can
Yeah.
very much finish in 4 semesters. That's what it's meant for.
Got it. Got it. That's really reassuring to know. And as the last segment of our show today, we would just want you to share some advice with younger students that are about to go through this whole process of picking the right college for them, and working through the entire application journey. So, what would your advice to them be?
I think in like with regard to picking a college, that one is very subjective. But just pick what you think you will like the most. Like it's very important to also see culture. Like I think I overlook that a lot, and not people like will look at prestige and rankings and stuff, which is important. I agree. But then also looking at like what the school is like is
Yeah.
something I tended to like overlook. Like
Hmm.
see how big it is, like what the undergrad population is like. Like Emory is one of the, it's like a mid-sized, smaller school. It's not
Yeah.
as big as like Northeastern or something. So it's
Yep.
much more like tight knit, and that has a very big impact on what like going to Emory will be like. So if you want like a very big school, state school experience, pick something bigger like USC or Northeastern, and then a smaller
Right.
school experience would be like Babson or Emory or something. And then honestly, if you like, I was very like scared to actually go to Emory like a week before, like two
Mm.
weeks before actually going my freshman year. Firstly, no one came with me because this was like COVID, so
Yeah.
I had to like kind of set up everything by myself, and like I was kind of on my own. I never traveled alone like completely by myself before this, so I was really scared. But just know that just go. Like worst case, if you hate it, like we'll figure. But just you should just go and see it because I loved it after that. Like it's like the best decision I ever made. So you should
Yeah.
definitely just, and worst case, like absolute worst case, if you don't like the college you are at, you can always transfer the next year.
Transfer. Yeah.
There's so many options.
That's the beauty of the American system. But I think what you touched on is so important, that establishing fit of culture and who you are and what you're looking for. Um, and the first semester, of course, everyone naturally has a few teething issues until they adapt and live away from home for the first time. But as you know, as long as you've done your college research and picked a college that is the right fit for you, you'll start to love it in some time for sure. Yeah, so
Yeah.
awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much, Alia. And thank you to everyone for tuning in. Stay tuned for our next episode where we'll have a new guest and cover something about them, their profile, and their college journey. So thank you.
Thank you for having me.